When it comes to safari, everyone knows about Kenya, Tanzania, and South Africa. But did you know that Malawi also has decent national parks for safari? Well, let me introduce you to one of the best national parks in Malawi called Liwonde National Park. Liwonde is located in the southern region of Malawi. It's on the smaller side compared to other national parks in Malawi. It's about 548 square kilometers. To put that into perspective, the city of Paris can fit into the park 5 times. Malawi often gets overshadowed by Kenya, Tanzania, and Zambia because it appears to be small on the map, but it does have a lot to offer. Liwonde National Park offers foot safaris, game drives, as well as boat safaris. So I actually went on a boat safari as well as a game drive. The entrance fee is only $10 for international visitors, but it's even cheaper for Malawians. The game drive, boat safari, and foot safari each cost $25 per person. A typical session lasts for 4 hours, but you can choose a shorter time. You can use your own car for $15, but of course it needs to be suitable for safari. The best time to visit would be the dry season, which is between April and October. It's easier to see the animals because they usually come out looking for water. A section of Shire River runs through the park. Shire River is the largest river in Malawi and is the only outlet of Lake Malawi. You can see the big 5 at Liwonde National Park, so that's lions, leopards, rhinos, elephants, and buffaloes. Of course, the scenery is gorgeous as well. I saw a lot of birds, but it was quite hard to capture them on camera. I also don't know most bird names, but I definitely saw Zazu from Lion King. I also saw quite a lot of warthogs, so that's Pumbaa from the Lion King.
Daddy, what's that?
This is just a warthog. Yeah, they put picture on the thing.
It's quite easy to spot water bucks and impalas. Besides monkeys, they probably have higher populations compared to other mammals in the park. When you're on a safari, it's not guaranteed that you will see all of the animals you want to see. Don't forget, this is not a zoo. This is meant to be their natural habitat, so the types of animals you will see will be random because animals do move around a lot. The recommended time for safari is 5 days at Liwonde National Park. This way, each day you will get to see different animals. I only did 3 hours of the game drive and 2 for the boat safari, so I definitely missed out a lot. It also helps if you have good attention to detail. A lot of animals were hidden in the bushes, especially the smaller animals. Others are just good with camouflage. Liwonde National Park has approximately 17,800 large mammals and over 380 bird species. Before becoming a national park, Liwonde was inhabited by local communities. They had good relationships with nature. Then, when the British colonized Malawi, they started trophy hunting and wildlife numbers went down. Later on, they implemented wildlife conservation efforts and established Liwonde as a game reserve in 1969. As I said, the animal spotting will be random, and if you squint in any direction, you can see an animal. Here we found 2 lionesses just relaxing. Since this is meant to be the wild, the lions can hunt for their own food, so they can hunt any of the animals in the park. And if one dies, they eat it too. You will have to drive for a long time to see a wider variety of animal species. And you might not tick off all of your checklist, but you might come across something good that you did not expect. In my case, as we were driving, we got caught by a cheetah. It was in a hunting mode. And this was on our way back to the reception as well. Cheetahs were absent at Liwonde National Park for a century. In 2017, they were reintroduced to the park. 7 cheetahs were relocated from South Africa. And now the population has increased to 21 cheetahs. Once the cheetahs were reintroduced, 4 species of critically endangered vultures have returned to the park. The leftover food from the cats has increased food availability for the scavengers. Just a fun fact, cheetahs are the fastest land mammals. They can run up to 130 kilometers per hour, which is equivalent to 75 miles per hour. Here we found elephants half hidden in the bushes. Some were hard to capture on camera, but here you can see 2 at least. It started getting dark, so it became harder to spot some animals, but you could still enjoy the sunset. Inside the national park, you can actually camp as well. There are lodges which you can book. I actually spent the night in one of the lodges in the park. At night, you could hear the elephants. I even heard a lion roar. In the morning, we saw so many footprints, and of course, there were like baboons, monkeys everywhere. It was such a nice experience. This is the cabin I spent the night in. It's next to this river infested with crocodiles. It's serviced by Kuchire Lodge. It's $50 per night per person. So if you are interested in booking it, I have included a link in the description. There are other lodge or hotel options depending on your budget or interests. So this is not the only option at Liwonde National Park. The river in front attracts a lot of wildlife, so if you are lucky, you can come really close to an elephant. This is an eco-friendly lodge, so it's powered by solar. At night, there's a campfire till early morning hours, and it's usually set up on this area. All of the furniture and most of the items in the lodge are handmade locally or made in Malawi. Kuchire Lodge also promotes local artists and has a lot of Malawian art. As you walk around the lodge, you will see a lot of sculptures and paintings. The artists take inspiration from the environment, so a lot of it will have savanna types of images. Most of the art pieces are sculptures like this one here, or this one, a very detailed sculpture. You can also buy some art pieces from locals nearby, like these ones over here. As I have said in my previous videos, this is one way to support the local communities. You buying anything goes a long way because a lot of these people do not own the lodges or hotels. So if you buy anything, it does go a long way. I'm sure you can find a piece that you can buy even as little as $10 or $5. It does help out the community. These are good souvenirs and can also be gifted to someone. The next day, I went on a boat safari. Most of the lodges provide their own tours, so you will most likely use the tour which your hotel or lodge provides. The hotels are far apart from each other, so it's more practical to use the tour provided by your hotel. The boat safari is on the Shire River, so you will see a lot of fishermen on your way because a lot of locals rely on the river for food. This type of safari is a good way to view the landscape in a way that the game drive cannot provide. The boat safari gives you a good view because a lot of animals come around to drink some water. I saw so many birds, a lot that were harder to see on the game drive, so if you like bird watching, the boat safari is the best in my opinion. If you want to do some photography, the boat safari is also better because on the game drive the animals are usually moving, but on a boat safari, they are in one place drinking water. Here we found an elephant feeding, and as you know, elephants spend about 80% of the day eating, and they need up to 150 kilograms of food per day. They also need to drink a minimum of 100 liters of water per day. So this one was going to be around this place for some time. And if you wanted to do some photography, then you'd have more time to capture the moment. When big mammals like elephants are still, it's a great chance to see birds because the birds like to eat the insects on the elephant's body. Elephants are highly social animals. They are normally in herds, but adult male elephants tend to be more solitary. So most likely this one is an adult male. Elephants at Liwonde National Park still face various threats like getting poached for their ivory. But responsible tourism can contribute to their conservation as it generates funds that support anti-poaching initiatives. Elephants are very important to Liwonde's ecosystem because they shape the landscape through their feeding habits, so Liwonde wouldn't be the same without them. Here we saw hippos crossing the river. Hippos are semi-aquatic animals, so the boat safari is the best option to see them. They spend a significant amount of time submerged in the water to keep cool. This is because their skin is so sensitive that they need to protect it from the sun. They are very social animals that live in groups called pods. The groups are usually led by dominant males. One thing I noticed on this trip is that they seem really playful and tend to hide when they see people. So hippos are considered to be vulnerable internationally, not just in Malawi. They are considered vulnerable because of loss of habitat and poaching. So those were the highlights of the large mammals I saw on the boat safari. Shire River also has a lot of crocs. Don't forget the park has over 17,800 large mammals, and it's the size of Paris times 5. So not all animals will be seen in the same places, but you will enjoy the stunning views. So in total, to go for the game drive and the boat safari, both with a guide, costed a total of $50. The entrance fee to Liwonde National Park was $10. So for this whole experience, I spent only $110. Sometimes in the bushes, you can actually see dead animals as well. I don't know if you could see that one. It was a dead hippo. When the animals die, the carnivores or scavengers eat them. Just to point out as well, Malawi has over 10 national parks where you can do safari. So you can choose the best one for you. You can see the big 5 in at least 9 of them. One is an aquatic national park called Lake Malawi National Park. I've introduced this park already in my previous videos, but I will link it in the description as well for your information. This is the end of the boat safari. Some of the locals settled alongside the river. I don't know how, because there's a lot of wild animals around here. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and please comment down below and tell me what you think about Liwonde National Park. The more you comment, the more YouTube recommends this video. Please also like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.